This is the final presentation for Books R Us, which presents books to users rated on emotions readers felt while reading that book. What the team will discuss is just an overview how our requirements and designs have changed over the course of the semester. We'll demo the app and we'll revisit our test plan and maybe go over some architecture and structure and basically the things that have changed since the last presentation. For the product overview, nothing's changed in terms of our core goal, which is to recommend books to users based on the emotions that they may experience while reading that book. We kept the same 6 emotions, but the number of features that we completed have changed. Some things that got added were the voting. We can actually vote on those books now. We expanded our library using a Google Books API. We have 50 right now, but with a click of a few buttons, we could get thousands and thousands of books, but we felt that was a little more than we needed for this test of our app and if it's valuable. We can do dynamic searching of all those books that we have. So if you go to our voting page, you can type in book titles and book authors, and it will dynamically filter that page to what you need. And we do also all the top books for an emotion, as well as all the books rated on a single emotion. That's a new one. So if you click on fear, it'll show you all books that are rated from 1 to N on fear. Some things that we never got to, and so we just decided to nix them. They were too big for this class. We're making user profiles, and along with user profiles came individualized recommendations and also having a personal library of things you may want to read in the future and leaving book reviews and things like that. Those were all out of scope of what we were up to. The requirements did not change too much. Our design actually stayed pretty similar to what we started with, but our designer will show you some of those things in his portion. The components that did change, though, was the front end. Well, we revamped our entire architecture to .NET Core. Our front end stayed Angular, but it was no longer presented with a MVC, for the .NET MVC. It is still the generalized sense of an MVC, a model view controller, and that view is presented in Angular. The backend totally changed, where our controllers are the .NET Core, and our database connection is Entity Framework, which made things a lot quicker to implement with almost single line calls to the database instead of making huge data transfer objects and things like that, or data access objects. And our API went from Goodreads to Google Books. And that was because Goodreads does not present any option to get just an entire list of books. It's only like search a book, retrieve a book by its title or something. And we didn't know any titles. We just wanted to get all the books, and Google Books allowed that. A flow of how you would come through our app is you'd get to the homepage, you'd see all the books, all the top books per emotion, and there's 2 places you can go from that homepage. One is a ratings page for a single emotion, and you see the books rated from 1 to N for that emotion. You can come back by clicking the home button. You go to the voting library where you see all the books to vote on. You can come back by clicking the home button. But if you're still in the library, if you click on any book, it'll take you to a voting page specific to that book. And our UML got much more complicated as we went on, which is a good thing. That showed we were making some progress. One of the most important relationships is that emotion score that takes an emotion and a book and joins those 2 things together and represents when those 2 things interact. And it was very crucial to all of our ratings and for us to receive votes and implement them in some way, and also to output recommendations based on the emotion scores of all these books compared to each other.